Hey, this is Doc. Um, I see things kind of moving into the way they should move. Over the past year, many of you have been prepping and getting things ready and getting things set in your home, the food storage, the ammo, the weapons, all that in place, and whatever it takes to have yourself ready to go or ready to do. But there's one prepping that you really need to do. See, when Uh, like I've always said, the first thing you do, if at all possible, is you bug in. That's your home. That's your fortress. Okay. Another thing is, I also encourage that you don't do it by yourself because you need to uh, bring others in if you can into your fortress to help protect that area. You're one man with your wife and your kids. Excuse me. That timing you did. But if you're able to group up with another family and come under one roof, that increases your firepower, increases your alertness, and increases your security. Okay? Now, with that being said, that's really not the topic I wanted to get onto tonight. But now that you've got most of your stuff squared away, most of your stuff ready to go, which I believe that most of you actually do, we will always have little things that pop in our mind that we need to do. And we do that. But we need to have the major plans or the major things in place. Now, let me talk to you about bug out, okay? Something about bug out that always bothers me. And because, see, you don't bug out without a plan. You don't just grab your backpacks and hit the woods. That's unfamiliar territory. All right, even 5 blocks over in the woods, you've probably never been in those woods. So you don't know what's in those woods. Or you don't know who will be heading in the same direction. Okay? You have to have a plan B. Plan A, I look at as bug in. And you hold out there as much as possible. Okay? And there's things that you need to do even after that to protect yourself during the bug in. And I'll do that on another video. But when you're no longer able to contain yourself in your place where you're at now, you see, some people plan on just hitting the road and going and leaving everything that they got or that they've done behind. Well, go right ahead. Actually, the best place to be is away or where you're at until the mass hysteria calms down and you're able to um, move about. But you need to get hold of some hard maps of your area or of where you plan. You need to come up with a plan on where you'll bug out to. Now, there are people who are setting out up, underground places and cabins and this and that. That's fine and dandy. That's what they should do. But of course, it's bug in first and then head out toward that. And I'm not telling you to go 100 miles away and store up a ton of food. I mean, unless you're rich and you know you can do it, go right ahead. Otherwise, what's on your back or what's on your backs and the resources that you have and the ability to eat with what you can catch is going to be your food, okay? And you need to plan for that, all right? You need to plan for that. Now, like I said in my previous videos, I already have a plan B to plan C. But what I got to work on now is the logistics with it. There's logistics and there's mapping that needs to be done because you need to have an understanding of the distance you've got to go and the abilities that you have per day to make a certain distance. And then because you'll have to make camps. If you're able to hop in a vehicle and go all the way, that's great. But I have a problem foreseeing that when the SHTF hits or the WROL, that you're not going to get as far as you think in your vehicle. So you have to plan for possibly on foot the rest of the way. So you got to think of a plan B where you can go to and hold up and maintain communication. All right, if you haven't started working on communications, you need the ability to hear radio, you need the ability to hear ham, you need the ability to hear CB, whatever communications around you, so you know what's going on around where you're at. All right, that's the next phase. You can put up all the canned goods you want. Ain't gonna do you any good if you don't have the ability to survive solo out of backpacks. So I want you to remember that. All right, it's great to hoard up and store up. If you can maintain the home front, you're good to go. But the odds are, usually there's a wrench in the works. Always seems to be a wrench getting thrown in the works. And what you planned for isn't what's going to happen. So you have to have a plan B and a plan C. Okay? 3 plans: plan A, plan B, plan C. All right? And you got to you got to plan on what you might have to deal with in those 3 plans. You got to make sure that you're able to cover the areas necessary for those 3 plans. That's some thinking that has to go on. Okay? 99% of the people, even those who are prepping, are not thinking of forward. They're just thinking of now. And you got to think ahead. You never go anywhere without a plan. You ever go on a vacation and not plan? Or do you just say, oh, we're just going to hop in the car and hit the road, and wherever we end up, we end up? If you've done that, good for you. But I don't ever hear of anybody, and I've never just said, well, I'm hopping in the car and I'm hitting the road, and wherever I end up, I end up. No, that's what's going to happen with a lot of people who bug out. They're going to end up in places they have no idea where they're at. But you should. You should be able to have a hard copy map that you can laminate, and you can spot your coordinates, and you know where you are at all times. Okay? That takes some thinking. There's more to this survival thing than just bugging out and grabbing your backpack and go. You know, I think there's a like a glory thing to this that's being placed over this, and it's not. It's bad times. There's nothing glorious about it. All right, it's going to be a fearful time. And in my next video, I'm going to talk about what you have to deal with maybe on the home front in order to maintain your place from groups that may try to form and come against the good. You see, I fight for the good. I don't fight for the bad. The bad, I can take them out. I don't care. But I'm going to take care of those who are honest and innocent. And, of course, I'm sure if you're watching this video, you have the same desire. So, I don't want to keep this video too long, but I want you to start considering plan B. All right? Let me know what your plan B is. You don't got to tell me specifics, but just let me know if you have a plan B. And if you have a plan B, you know, do you have everything covered that you would cover in plan A? See, that's the headache of it. Okay? That's the mystery of it. You have to have everything that you have in your current plan. You have to be able to produce almost everything in your plan B. You're still going to have weapons. You're still going to have security. You're still going to have communication. You're still going to have protection from the elements. You're still going to have the ability to feed yourself. You're going to have all these, which you have in plan A. You need that in plan B. And you need it in plan C, okay? Because if plan B, it's a good place for an intermediate spot, but plan C should always be your final place, your final spot. You stand your ground, done deal. It's plan C, and normally that's away from what's going on in the world. There's plenty of places where nothing's going to be going on. okay? And you've got to figure out the plan B and the plan C. And I put in my previous video that I'd be more than happy to help you figure out your plan B and plan C. Just remember, though, what you have in your plan A should also have in your plan B and in your plan C. Okay? That's how you survive. All right? You can't just pull over at any time, walk into McDonald's and eat. Because if the SHTF occurs, there won't be no McDonald's open. They'll be raided. I mean, look at the store just in the South this past week. Within 5 hours, all the grocery stores were flat out empty. Okay? Just take little notes like that and realize that whatever you got on hand, that's what you got to deal with plan A. But whatever you got on hand, that's what you got to prepare with for plan B. Always, always, always have a back door. Always have what's called a back door. Always have a plan B. Okay? And plan C is like your cellar. You have your back door, then you have your cellar. You have your plan B, your plan C. Okay? You always have to have those in place. That's just called wisdom. And that's also, you know, you're doing this. You might be selfish in doing this for yourself. But I'm not doing this for myself. You see, I'm doing this for my children and my grandchildren. And you should be doing it for your families. If you're a loner, if you're all by yourself, then you have no responsibilities except for your own self. You know, and you'll most likely be able to make things through. But when you're somebody who has to take care of people, you've got to have a plan B and a plan C. Otherwise, you're just thinking of yourself. All right? Doc's got you 6. Leave a message on this video. Let me know that you've been working on plan B. And if you haven't, let me know you haven't and that you need to start now. While we have this quiet time, we need to get it all in order. Stop thinking about your macaroni beef or your tuna and start thinking about plan B. Got me? God bless.